anybody, and if anyone is looking for the Russian stream or anything like that, I think Joan Yoda and whatnot have them listed, but this is an English language stream. But hello everybody and welcome back to the AMD Dota Premier League second season. We are in the semi-final portion of our competition, so we're only one day away from the grand finals, which will actually be tomorrow. It's RSnake versus Orange. It's a best of three, and I'm glad to be here casting in association with Dota Talk. It's a pleasure to have you guys all along for the ride. So we're gonna have Orange over on the Radiant side with first pick RSnake, electing in fact to be over on the Dire after winning the coin flip, and chat is completely out of hand, so hopefully again the mod team will be able to maybe rein that in. But Orange can RSnake gonna start us off with the ban on Batrider. Shadow Demon gonna be removed from the pool by Orange.
Rattlesnakes
And sorry guys, just gonna troubleshoot and make sure that everything is working as it should, because obviously we've got a lot of people tuned in, and I want to make sure that the stream is sort of the best that it can possibly be. And it looks like everything is pretty much set up. If anybody wants to watch in-game, the ticket is still available. It costs $3, obviously depending on your region, I believe. And I mean, there's not that much of the competition left, but we are at the tail end right now, so the most exciting games are probably the most important, and you can get access to all the replays and whatnot as well. But the draft has moved pretty quickly, so RSnake choosing to ban out an OD, and Orange, again, sort of focusing on their support ban drafting style, going to be removing the Visage and the Shadow Demon here. So RSnake, in response to the Alchemist, will immediately snap up both Chen and Wisp. And let's see what their overall plan is going to be to put pressure on the Alch. I mean, Chen and Wisp, not your typical aggressive tri-lane heroes. So it looks like RSnake will be sitting back at least for the early game. Maybe looking to roam and gank a little bit, but for the most part it looks like their two supports really just want to get some farm going on, and that's something that Orange might be able to exploit. Just by running an aggressive lane of their own. They could solo Weaver on bot, they could run the Alchemist mid and still pick up a very good aggressive tri-lane. And I mean, Alchemist and Weaver not too bad in an aggressive tri-lane either, so if they really want to put some pressure on the RSnake side, they've got good options, and RSnake have sort of almost shown their hand a little bit to start. If you pick up Chen and Wisp as your two supports, then you're sort of locking into okay, let's force the enemy team into 5-manning kind of lineup, and that means Orange, they can react, they can go and pick up their teamfight heroes, they can be kind of ready for it. But RSnake just going to be banning out some supports here, getting rid of the Enchantress. DK going to be the ban for Orange. I think they just really quickly want to try and remove as much push as they possibly can. And RSnake, if they're going to all in the push, wouldn't be too surprised to see something like a Keeper of the Light banned out by them. So, what else have we got going on here? Guys, I'll apologize now. My commentary is probably going to get a little bit dicey. It's already 10 p.m. It's already 10 p.m. in Australia. This is my first day back at uni. You guys don't want to hear excuses, but maybe I'll get one or two people to bear with me. I'm going to do my absolute best. I'm hyped up on caffeine. So again, these are really important games, and I will do my absolute best not to miss a single kill, though having said that, I will probably now miss the first blood. But CK is going to be the ban for Orange, so just a little bit worried about what that Wisp might be partnered up with. I don't feel like RSnake necessarily always go for the really explicit partnership between, you know, CK Wisp, Tiny Wisp, things like that. But often we'll just use the hero because it's strong, and Relocate is a fantastic overall ability. So we'll see what they go for here. There's still plenty of partners left in the pool. There's a Ricky, there's a PA. There's a Tiny. If they go for the Tiny, then they're kind of inviting Orange to come and go aggressively, to run an aggressive tri-lane against them, which could be less than great. And RSnake definitely drafting as though they're going to be getting a defensive tri-lane, and sort of defensive tri-lanes from both sides, going to be picking up the Bounty Hunter here. This is something that we've actually seen RSnake been doing quite a bit of recently. They've been picking up the Bounty Hunter or a Lifestealer and then putting that aggressively against a farming Alchemist. And Bounty Hunter and Lifestealer, both solo offlane heroes that can actually put a little bit of pressure on the Alch and prevent him from just getting absolute free farm. So RSnake, they seem to have been experimenting with it a little bit more of late, and looks like that's going to be the kind of style that they're going for now. Meanwhile, for Orange, just going to be picking up a little bit of counter push, a little bit of team fight in the Jakiro. So again, RSnake, their two support pickups have kind of moved us in a 5-man sort of direction, with the Wisp picking off anybody who refuses to, well, picking off anybody who's straggling a little bit too much. So they're using the Wisp to force the 5-on-5, and then using the pushing power of the Chen and the Bounty Hunter to really capitalize on the fact that they will have that Wisp pressure. But they've also got great pick-off so far as well, so That could also just be the direction that they're moving in. I mean, Bounty Hunter not really a pusher on the whole, so we're probably still looking towards maybe a couple more ganking heroes from them. We haven't had a whole bunch of attention paid towards mid lane just yet, aside from maybe the OD and the OD, Batrider, and DK ban. So there's still Puck, there's still Queen of Pain, all those quintessential strong mids from a little while ago. Though the mid lane has kind of transitioned into a more interesting place. Well, not necessarily a more interesting place, it depends on how you define interesting on mid lane. Some people think that mid lane is at its most interesting when you've got two mids butting heads nonstop, and you've got, you know, Queen of Pain and Puck and Storm and all of these very aggressive heroes where you can see a bunch of kills. Mid lane then has kind of transitioned into a more Bottle Crowy kind of space where we had lots of Magnus and DK, and now Magnus has kind of fallen off a little bit, but Dragonite with his Bottle Crow shenanigans are still kind of at their peak. So Rattlesnake, let's see what their core heroes are going to be. We still don't have their 1 and 2 positions unless we're going to be seeing a farming Bounty Hunter. And Rattlesnake will end up going for the Tiny here. It's not a bad pushing option, but I really feel like they're inviting Orange to come and run an aggressive tri-lane right now. There's still a Naix, there's still a Rubik in the pool, all of which are great aggressive tri-lane heroes. I mean, Jakiro's not necessarily amazing on an aggressive tri-lane, but Rattlesnake's defensive tri-lane is quite weak. Tiny's very susceptible to ranged harass early on. Yes, if the Chen comes across and gets a good gank and Tiny has some levels to get a combo down, then they can get the levels and then they can start making the space in the tri-lane. But for the most part, Rattlesnake really just want to take advantage of the Chen jungle, the sort of Wisp semi-jungle, stacking and clearing. And Tiny doesn't really handle himself that well in the lane, which could be really dangerous here for Rattlesnake. I mean, he doesn't have an escape mechanism. If there's an aggressive tri-lane here and the Rattlesnake supports aren't helping him out, then he's just going to be forced to sit underneath the tower and not be able to do anything. So, have to be a little bit worried for Rattlesnake. I mean, they've got the push, they've definitely got the pickoff, but it's a question. It's very level dependent, even in what would normally be your early game heroes with the Chen and the Wisp. I mean, your supports are typically there, being very aggressive, you know, quite early on, but the Wisp and Chen don't really have anything until they sort of both reach level 3, which is still a reasonably wide window for Orange to be able to do things. So we're going to have Dazzle as the ban, Orange also choosing to pick up a Darkseer here. So they might not be running an aggressive tri-lane, they could just be using the Darkseer to put pressure on the Tiny instead and just get farm up on both their Alchemist and their Weaver. It looks like somebody, perhaps the Alchemist or the Weaver, is going to be heading towards mid. So yeah, I'm not actually sure. I feel like it might be Darkseer solo bot, maybe against the Bounty Hunter, Alchemist mid, and then Weaver heading up an aggressive tri-lane, though it could just equivalently be a very greedy lineup from them, perhaps. They could even pick up another core hero, jungle the Darkseer, offlane the Weaver, farm the Alchemist, and safe lane the Jakiro, so still one more mid position available, but yeah. Bit of an interesting draft from Rattlesnake, I have to say, and let's see how they're going to wrap this one up. I feel like they need somebody who's a little bit less level dependent, but no, it's going to be snagging the Brewmaster here. A very melee heavy lineup against a Darkseer. Brewmaster, we haven't been seeing too much of him of late. Did receive a couple of recent changes, and I guess since we haven't been seeing him to run over them, he's now got... He had a little bit of damage removed off the Fire Panda, he had a little bit more damage added, I believe, to the Storm Panda. And now, once you have your Aghanim Scepter, your current level of Drunken Brawler is added to all of your to all of your spirits. So
5 seconds remaining.
So we don't actually see that much Brewmaster. I don't know who Rattlesnake think he's going to be matched up against, perhaps on mid, but the tri-core melee lineup for Rattlesnake here, they've got pretty good early team fight. They've got the Bounty Hunter, but it's just a question of It's a question of levels, it's a question of farm. Bounty Hunter does create additional farm, but it does need to get level 6 beforehand, and I mean, Rattlesnake have a really good early game lineup if they want it to be. They can go for the Spray Concoction build on the Alchemist, just pick up a Shadow Blade. Weaver can go for Tread's Drum, Medallion, if he wants to, and just put the pressure on the Tiny before he can even farm up his couple of core items, which he does desperately need. And Orange, on top of that, they've already got the Darkseer Jakiro Wombo combo, so just vacuuming everybody into an Ice Path, into a Concoction stun. And yeah, we'll just be wrapping it up with the Rubik. So Orange, not sure if it's going to be an aggressive tri-lane or a defensive tri-lane, but picking up the Rubik, I mean, they're not we'll see. Picking up the Rubik with the dual support suggests that they might just be going aggressive, because otherwise they could have taken a really, really farmy lineup and just tried to have been confident about out-farming Rattlesnake towards the late game. So yeah, Rattlesnake, they've got some teamfight in the Brewmaster, but that's a little bit out of the ordinary. We've got the Bounty Hunter, who they have, again, been playing a little bit more of late, but yeah, Tiny, not somebody that we've seen for a while. I think people will remember Lanham for his Tiny back during TI2, I want to say. There's a couple of clips floating around, but I might be misremembering there.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Looks like the chat is more or less now under control, guys. Sorry about the earlier spam. We just, for the last couple of games of this event, we haven't actually had that many people tuned in over here. But anyway, that's a story for a completely different time. Welcome back to the semifinals of the AMD Dota 2 Premier League second season. It's Rattlesnake versus Orange. This is our first game of this best out of 3, and the first best out of 3 for the night. So we've got at least 3 more games ahead of us between the 4 teams playing this evening, and hopefully even more. More Dota is always better. Maybe I'll have to add a condition to that statement, but for the most part, seeing Dota of this quality, more games is always enjoyable to watch. So jumping ourselves into the game, over on the side of Rattlesnake, we're going to have Icy on the Bounty Hunter. It's going to be Kabu on the Chen. Sag's going to be on the Wisp. We've got Lanham on his Tiny, and Luo is going to be on the Brewmaster. Meanwhile, over on the side of Orange, we've got KOXY playing the Alchemist. Ohio is going to be on the Weaver. We've got Mushi on the Jakiro, interestingly enough. Extinct is going to be on the Rubik, and Net we'll be playing the Darkseer, currently making his way up towards the top lane. Bit of an eco build from him to start, however, so not quite sure what he's planning. Looks like he might be just snagging a bottle as the offlane Darkseer, but yeah, Orange lane's a little bit strange. Looks like, well, I'm not actually sure what's going on. Ahira's been pulled up, so looks like he might be heading towards mid. They pick up the second support, but looks like the game plan is not tweaked too much from the initial Alchemist pickup. Just farm up on the Alchemist and hope that will be enough to out-carry the Tiny in. Prospect are actually pretty good as far as that's concerned. So Icy just making his way down, looking to probably intercept his first wave, but Orange already have some sentries up. The secondary support looks like it not for an aggressive tri-lane, but more just to have somebody else to put pressure on the Bounty Hunter. So, and this is something that I should have realized after I talked about the fact that a Bounty Hunter can put pressure on the Alchemist. So if you've only got one support and you've got a jungle Darkseer, then that support has to make a decision between pulling the camp or harassing the Bounty Hunter out of the lane. If they don't harass the Bounty Hunter out of the lane, then the Bounty Hunter is going to actively be harassing KOXY, which is not what Orange want in the slightest. So picking up the second support is sort of coverage for the Alchemist in this lane. They could have gone greedier, but they would have missed out on a little bit of farm on the Alchemist. You know, Icy is going to get a little bit icy with the Ice Path. He's got some early boots up, so it looks like he's been pulled a little bit of regen, just some tangos from Kabu, and we'll be able to make it out with this first creep wave. So, well, will he? She's still giving him a little bit of trouble, but looks like he's going to be fine. Meanwhile, on mid, Luo is already being driven back. The swarm up. He doesn't have his, does now have his bottle, just being shipped out, but already taking some big damage. And Mushi, does he just want to cancel a bottle sip here? He's looking for the low HP Brewmaster. He's probably looking for the Courier as well. And Mushi just now saying hello. Needs to be a little bit careful, but so it's going to be a Weaver mid up against the Brewmaster. Brewmaster as a melee mid isn't going to have too fantastic a time. And looks like Net won't be putting pressure on the Tiny. He's actually just making his way straight into the jungle. I mean, Tiny is a hero that actually suffers quite a bit at the hands of the Darkseer. I mean, primarily for the damage, not so much in terms of interrupting his CS. And Tiny does definitely have the combo damage to be able to bring him down. So Net's just kind of playing it safe, at least for these initial few levels. Orange, meanwhile, the support's just pulling up. Farm looking pretty good for the Orange side on the whole. As far as the mid lane is concerned, Luo's going to catch up a little bit after Ohio went in so aggressively. I mean, he's still got plenty of pooled regen, so he can definitely afford to trade blows, and will also be picking himself up a bottle here. But Lanham just falling a little bit behind in terms of overall CS. KOXY looks like he hasn't missed a beat just yet, and Icy just doing his best to soak experience. That's about all he can hope for right now. He wasn't pulled any wards or anything like that. Didn't even really try and body block out the camp. So there was no reason for Orange to use sentries over on their pull camps, and that means that they've still got 2 up for the lane, and Icy is kind of having a little bit of a difficult time. Yeah, Mushi just going to keep on jungling, has his double damage earn. Again, kind of interesting to see that Mushi is going to be on a support role this game, so we'll see if maybe similar to Vici Gaming, we do have Orange making a couple of role adjustments. Lua going to get one more hit out onto Ohio, who just barely has enough mana for one more Shikuchi and will not pop off his salve. So Brewmaster the clap, and just non-stop bottle crowing is kind of pulling him ahead a little bit as far as this lane is concerned. Orange going to start off the push on bot. They don't have any points in Acid Spray. They've got maybe 2 Fade Bolt to push this and a little bit of Dual Breath. It will be a relatively tough push for them all the same. Icy could just, once Orange back off, he could look to Shuriken Toss one of the creeps and try and pull it past the tower just to try and get a little bit of damage off here. On the whole, a pretty farmy start from both sides. RSnake going to be very happy with the situation. They're running stacks, they're running Wisp clearing out some jungle camps. He's almost level 4. And Kabu, almost level 4, well, just past level 4 as well, will now be making his way up towards top, and looks like RSnake will be going for a kind of early push, wanting to try and draw net up towards the top lane. And looks like he's got himself a TP scroll ready, so he's setting up to just defend this push. And should be okay, just needs to make sure that he doesn't get too close and gets comboed down by the Tiny. And also needs to be very careful that the Wisp doesn't get thrown at him and he gets tether stunned. So it looks like Net just going to be playing it safe for now. I see still getting pretty reasonable levels. The Centaur Stomp's going to pop off. That might be a clue for Extinct that somebody else is here, but looks like Icy will be able to snag that one. Gets away with the experience and gets away scot-free. On top lane, we've also got Mushi making his way up here, and it looks like Wisp might be in some trouble. He's going to tether his way over the top, but is it quite far enough? No. First blood will be drawn. Nuke back in the opposite direction. RSnake will get a response kill, but I guess Orange get the first kill there, and things working out pretty well for them as far as that's concerned. Lanham just going to keep wailing away in the tower, but they will be forced back in. Yeah, Orange not bad on the top lane. Very early rotation from the Jakiro, but looks like going to pay off for Mushi there. And just some phase boots for Lanham. So phase boots as opposed to treads. Looks like he's going to be going a little bit more aggressive here. Again, I feel like the onus is on RSnake to be able to get down towards bot and try and shut down KYXY. Meanwhile, just making sure that nothing too interesting is happening mid there, guys. But as far as KYXY is concerned, he's just going the maximum farm build. He's not interested in really killing off the Bounty Hunter too much. Not leveling Concoction, one more than Grievel's Greed or anything like that. It's just straight farm towards a Battle Fury. And then it'll probably still be Shadowblade afterwards, despite there being a Bounty Hunter. The phase and the track move, the move speed and everything are still great, and it's still a great initiation tool if the Bounty Hunter isn't just camping you non-stop. Meanwhile, Extinct has dropped down a Sentry Ward here, so not going to have Icy stealing any more of his creeps, and probably won't be getting any more experience. And Mushi just walking his way back, triumphant from the top lane. So it's still a pretty passive game on the whole. Ohio would really love to get some healing from somewhere. Does Mushi have anything? No, just going to be a Bottle Crow runoff here. And a salve. Can they get anything done on Luo? He does have the Brewmaster ultimate here. They might be able to force it out. He's going to pop the clap. Has stick charges. And looks like he's going to be fine. Brewmaster almost 1k HP. Already at level 6. Very difficult to do too much about. RSnake also with some defensive wards. Up on mid. The push attempted again top, but Net is just hunkering back behind his tower. Staying safe in terms of overall farm. KYXY is a long way ahead of Lanham, so it looks like a little bit of Darkseer interference and a little bit of pulling has been causing a problem. Luo, he's got stick charges. Can he get any more damage down here? Ohio is going to jump back in with the Shikuchi, realizing that he can see him. Luo going to keep on chasing. No, now turning around. And on top lane, looks like Net is going to walk out a little bit too far and will be snagged and brought down there. Meanwhile, on bot, Luo is in trouble. It looks like he just TP'd in. Hand of God going to pop off. Will be able to get the Brewmaster ult. Now heading towards KYXY, trying to retreat. Icy going to shift focus. Unfortunately, not quite level 6 just yet. And Extinct. He wants out. Nice bit of micro. They're going to get him up into the air. And looks like it will be 2 kills here for the Panda ult. And now the track. So even better there for RSnake. And yeah, Hand of God absolutely clutch. Now pulling up ahead to 3 kills the lead. Orange bringing up 3 heroes, but Net almost comboed down immediately, still relatively tanky. Ursa threatens the clap, will get it down on 2, vacuum back. Lanham just about to drop, right click from the Weaver, enough. Ohio going to pick up a double now, makes his way forward, surged as well, just for a little bit of redundancy there. Ice Path just to clear up the creep. Kabu forced into a headlong retreat. So we've got reasonable trades on both sides of the map, both safe lanes pretty much being completely wiped out. In terms of overall farm, it's about a 1k lead in favor of Orange, though experience is sitting pretty on the Rattlesnake side, 1750 at the moment. Ohio just going to be going for an early aggressive build, more than likely prompted by the fact that Alchemist is not going for anything early, anything aggressive. He is just farming a Battle Fury, and that's the life story of KOXY right now. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure on Ohio to act as more of a traditional mid here and just pick up early items, look to TP on things and gank and actually be active around the map, because that's exactly what the Brewmaster is hoping to do. And Luo, things looking pretty good for him after a relatively rough start on the middle lane. This is the nature of the Bottle Crow mids. They Bottle Crow, they spam. Everything sort of goes okay. Ohio going to pop off the double damage turn here. Can he do anything to Luo? He's only got 1 point up in the haze. Looks towards the courier perhaps as well. We'll get the clap, but killing spree immediately for Ohio.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Things looking great for Weaver. Since we've got so many kills and things going on, guys, I'll switch it over to total farm. Icy will get the shuriken toss on the track. Can he actually get this kill? Time-lapsing back. There's still double damage up on Ohio, and he's got stick charges. This could just be dangerous. Shikuchi forward. One more right click gonna do it. Dominating streak now. Kabu also wants to try his luck, it looks like, but no, Net will come in and force him back. So Orange, 2 kills for Ohio on mid, and things shaping up fantastically. And I mean, Rattlesnake can't really afford to have a big fat Weaver to deal with, because they do have to eventually get down towards bottom lane and try and kill off Alchemist again at some point, since he is just going to be the ticking time bomb on bottom lane. If he gets enough items, then he will more than likely out carry the Tiny at this kind of rate. And as you can see, Lanham has no interest in going for a straight carry Tiny build. He's just picked up phase. Looks like he's heading towards a drum right now, and they just want to gank the living daylights out of this Alch. I mean, Wisp with the early couple of deaths has been set back a bit in terms of getting that level 6, so it looks like Lanham just going to come down and do it the old-fashioned way, and we'll be able to pick up a tower deny at the same time.
Dire's bottom tower
yeah, things on the whole looking pretty good for Orange. As far as the late game prospects are concerned, it should be pretty good. Rattlesnake do have a little bit of split push flavor, well, split push going on, and the Brewmaster is now a little bit more relevant in the late game with that, with the levels on Drunken Haze being added to his spirits. Once he gets an Ags, I see going in pretty deep here for Mushi. There are a bunch of Orange heroes just lurking around, but yeah, just Orange kind of retreating back into their shell, holding up their jungle. And we do have Kabu coming in this time around for a bit of a push on mid. Ohio again with the Shikuchi forward. And yeah, Rattlesnake going extremely deep here. I think some of this should have been spotted by Radiant Wards, and there's definitely one on the entrance to the jungle, so it looks like Orange should have their suspicions about what's going on, and nobody should really be caught out here. I mean, Ohio's still chilling out, but he's got time-lapse ready, and should be fine. Is there any more anti-invis aside from the track? There is one sentry ward, but now Orange gearing up for this fight on mid. KOXY will come out of hiding for this one. Luo, he's got the blink dagger. He's got the blanket dagger, but hasn't been delivered just yet. Extinct gonna get jumped. Will they be able to bring him down? Sag in some trouble, gets hit by the concoction. Hand of God now used. He's still alive, running back through the trees. The Brewmaster ultimate will pop. They're gonna send Darkseer up into the air, but no kills just yet. Both teams kind of in retreat. And looks like the swarm along with that ice path is gonna be enough to pick up the kill on the Wisp. Now Orange keep on driving them back. Rattlesnake, it doesn't look like the fight went badly for them, but they invested the Brewmaster ultimate, and they didn't pick up any kills, and now Brewmaster just going to jump straight back in. Avatos combo onto Mushi, but he's too tanky on his Jakiro, still alive. Icy walking into the edge of the ice path. They're going to be able to bring down the Tiny as well, and now Icy on the retreat. Looks like he will be able to escape, but Orange, very successful defense. Mushi surviving on a sliver, very thankful for the strength that Bracer is providing him right now. But yeah, Rattlesnake, a huge investment. They use the Brewmaster ultimate. It doesn't get them any kills. It's still the level 1 ult, so a very hefty cooldown. Though we do now have the relocate up for the Wisp, so they can at least look to run one gank with that once the Tiny is back alive. But looks like Orange, things are doing pretty well for them. 3.5k the gold lead and about 2.5k experience as well. But yeah, they really wanted that tower after the Panda ult investment, and I guess I didn't talk about this earlier on, but it should more or less be obvious that If Rubik gets his hands on Brewmaster's ult, then Brewmaster will be very, very sad, because it's a very potent ultimate and can be a little bit difficult for the Brewmaster to cover from time to time, just because his cast animations are relatively long. It's similar to, well, who is it similar to? An apt comparison doesn't actually immediately come to mind. Tidehunter is close, but Anchor Smash is a little bit faster, I think, than Thunderclap. It might not be the case. Meanwhile, we do have Icy now being spotted out. They're going to center road, they're going to lift him back. Mushi going to drop the Ice Path, just barely connecting there, but Icy will be comboed down, and looks like that's going to be it for the Rattlesnake push on bottom lane, as KOXY picks up his Battle Fury and now just makes his way down. So Orange stalling out fantastically. Rattlesnake, we haven't seen the relocate use just yet. I mean, Bounty Hunter was really hoping to set up there, but just wasn't able to do so. So let's see who's actually on the map as far as vision is concerned for Rattlesnake. They have established some good aggressive wards, but unfortunately Orange are just kind of playing the 5-man game. Well, four-man plus Ohio being Ohio on the middle lane, and he's just going to force Lua back. Says that this is his farming territory. But Tiny Wisp, you don't want to be on the back foot, and that's exactly where Orange have the Rattlesnake side right now. And does Extinct have level 6? Yes, he does. We've got Lua making his way down. He's got the Panda ultimate up in just a few seconds, and we've got Rattlesnake on the retreat, net walking in. He's got his mech finished. Is the same? Well, can the same be said for Chen? Not quite. Just 400 gold missing right now, so that's a big advantage for Orange to be able to play around. But not going to be too aggressive. We'll just back off. And again, I feel like Orange have the late game as far as this one is concerned, so they can afford to just sit back, don't be too aggressive, just play it safe, and just make sure that you don't get picked off by the Tiny Wisp. Speaking of pickoffs, well, no, nothing gonna happen on mid. I saw 3 heroes, and Orange's, well, and Ohio's dot, but looks like he's going to be fine. Our Rattlesnake carrying other forms of anti-invis aside from the Bounty Hunter. They do have some dust up on Sag, so things looking pretty good there, but KOXY is already stacking up a bunch more farm. We'll see what he's going for relatively soon. It might be an earlier BKB to deal with the Tiny Wisp relocate ganks, because if he's tracked, then the Shadow Blade won't be the best escape mechanism, though he'd still be very, very fast. But we'll see what they end up. Well, we'll see what it ends up going for here. He's being a little bit more active now. Has opted not to put the 4th point in the Grivel's Greed. Actually, just going for Acid Spray for a little bit of extra push, and will definitely help out if they can take more towers. If they can secure Roshan, then they're well on their way to winning this game. And Rattlesnake not really contesting them for this one right now. And Extinct, big steal from him, will be able to get the track. So now Orange in full control of track gold themselves. And Rattlesnake, can they take this fight? Lua's walking in, but Blink Dagger getting cancelled by the Acid Spray there, and looks like nothing will end up happening. Orange just bring 5 mid. In the meantime, Rattlesnake are farming, so I would expect the gold and experience to stabilize and start swinging back in the opposite direction. But Orange are just playing it safe, because they don't really know where Rattlesnake's wards are, and nobody wants to get picked off by relocate. So for the time being, it's just going to be Orange sitting back on their side of the map, and Rattlesnake. The unfortunate thing for them is that they can't force a push and then win a fight and then take the tower. They kind of need the pick off first. And so if Orange can deny them that first element of the sequence, then they just deny them the whole thing. And that gets very difficult for the Rattlesnake side. They are getting some reasonable farm. I think Kabu's got his mech now finished. So that's a nice little pickup for him, equalizing with the mech that's already on the Orange side. But yeah, Lanamy's got this aggressive build, and we are still yet to really see a relocate. So Orange, the defensive play is really paying off, and Ohio is just very slowly chipping away on this tier 1 tower mid. Rattlesnake not really looking to make their way and to do anything about it. They will attempt what looks like a deny here, but Lua's going to get lifted. They bring down the tower, and now KOXY channeling up a stun. Kabu does have both mech and Hand of God, so probably won't be a kill. But yeah, Rattlesnake on the back foot. Haven't seen a relocate from them just yet, and doesn't bode well for them. Icy just lurking around, wanting to set up some kills, but 4 kills total for the Rattlesnake side with the Bounty Hunter, and it's not for lack of trying from Icy. He's just been ganked up a couple of times, and now Ohio just if he can force out the Brewmaster ultimate, then he would love to do so, but I don't think it's going to end up happening here. And meanwhile, Icy will now be spotted. Was there a gem? No, looks like he just popped out and then maybe got tracked. And then that was kind of it for him. So sorry about missing that kill, guys. I just saw him invis and I assumed, well, How can they kill him? Maybe there was a single dust charge that I missed. Apologies for that. But Net gonna drive Lenham back on top. He's got 1k gold on top of his initial farm, but these are killing items. These are not really farming items. And KOXY is just going to continue to pull ahead. What's he working towards? Looks like no clear indications just yet. We've got a couple of energy boosters flying back for the orange supports right now, so just about to get that little bit speedier. But Extinct still hanging on to this track. He doesn't have that much left of it, so looks like it wasn't a fresh track steal over here. He just somehow managed to track the Bounty Hunter, maybe in the fade time, and that was that. I mean, RSnake have aggressive wards, but feeling like they can't gank KOXY. He's already got the second point up in the ult, so a little bit of extra survivability there. Ohio's almost got his, well, does now have his BKB finished, and the rest of the heroes relatively tanky aside from Extinct, and Extinct is just playing buddy-buddy with Mushi at all times. So, RSnake, no pickoffs. No pickoffs means no towers, and no towers means no gold, and that means that they are a ways behind right now. 5k gold, 2k experience.
Dire's top tower
I'm just
is
going to keep on
under
farming up Lanham with either the beginnings of perhaps a Yasha or just working towards his Aghanim Scepter, but they've sat back and farm, but you can't sit back and farm against the Alk, who's just doing exactly what he wants to do right now. And looks like he will be working his way towards the Shadow Blade. Lua going to jump in with the haste here. Stun thrown out, TP reaction immediate from Orange. They've got a fortification. Are they going to try and take this fight? We do still have 2 on the top lane. Going to try and make it a trade. What can they get going on here? Ice Path only onto a couple of creeps. Net going to threaten the vacuum, but it ends up being unused. Interestingly enough, Net going to choose to pick up a 3rd point in Surge before investing anything into Wall of Replica. On top lane, Ohio's going to get jumped, but he just got a BKB, and he's going to turn around onto Sag and just kill him off. Now looking towards Lanham. Can he actually fight him down as well? Going to dodge the avalanche using the time lapse, and now he knows that Lanham doesn't have his defensive ability up. It's just going to be a double. The Hand of God a little bit too slow from Kabu. He's going to throw down a sentry ward and spot an obs for himself, but is now going to be in a little bit of trouble as well as the Waver's going to run back in. Lua doesn't want to have to pop the ult for this one. Nice 2-man Ice Path as they're going to vacuum them back into a 2-man concoction. RSnake, this is a disaster. Godlike triple, not quite an ultra. As Net will snag that final last hit, but Orange, things are just looking great for them. And RSnake, the Chen and the Wisp, they were their first 2 pickups, but we saw it relocate top. Or Ohio turned on his BKB, and that was it. Wisp died, Tiny died, and things are getting harder and harder for RSnake from this point forward. And I hazard to look at the graphs, honestly. I mean, RSnake, they've got everything that you would expect them to need. Ice Path gonna miss here from Mushi, but there's just gonna be a vacuum back from Net to get the last little bit of the damage and the last little bit of the stun. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, RSnake, they're playing this right. They've got aggressive wards down. They're looking for pickoffs, but Orange really just denying them that opportunity. And now Ohio maybe in a little bit of trouble top. He's gonna time lapse his way back into the tether stun. Almost brought down. Gonna BKB up to dispel the dust. And now trying to escape one more punch from Lanham. Will finally finish him off. 850 gold. For ending the streak, so Ohio finally getting caught, but now Mushi walking up with Extinct. They're going to throw him back into the macro pile, a little bit of extra damage. Vacuum, Lanham going to be able to get the Avatars off, and nice relocate out. Now Kabu makes his way in. They've got some tracks. They do need to be careful about what they're doing here. Well, KOXY is actually bottom lane, so it looks like Orange going to be the ones on their retreat. Very scary Chen chasing forward, but no, Ice Path going to put an end to that. But really nice relocate there from Wisp, and they get the pick off and go completely unpunished for it. However, KOXY is still becoming kind of monstrous. Farming up in the bottom lane. He's got a Shadow Blade finished. Extinct is just hovering over Kabu right now, but nobody's there to back him up, and he's a little bit low on mana. So let's see what he's going to go for here. I don't know what the game plan is. They just got de-warded over here as well, so if he walked over the top of that sentry, he might just end up dying. But things looking great for Orange despite the last couple of minutes. Lanham is going to be working his way towards a Yasha. So it's still a pretty ganky build from him, but hasn't really been able to get it going. And that's not for a lack of trying. He's got great participation, 3 out of the 5 kills so far, but 5 kills with their lineup. Orange have just been making all the right moves defensively, and now with such a big lead, they can look to pick up a relatively early gem, keep their side of the map completely shrouded in shadow for the rest of the game, and RSnake, it's not going to be easy for them to get back in. I mean, they can take this tier 1 tower bot eventually. KOXY just channeling up a stun, gonna lob it out and run himself away there as Lua is just lurking. He's got his Panda ultimate back up, but again, the game plan, well, the sequence for RSnake Kabu's in some trouble. He's going to try and TP out here. Ice Path not going to connect, but they will be able to bring him down. But the game plan for RSnake is have Bounty Hunter waiting on somebody. Relocate on top of that person, kill them, pick up, go to a tower, try and get Orange to take you in a 5-on-5 fight, pop the Panda Ultimate, use the Panda Ultimate and Hand of God to win the fight. But now Icy gonna get jumped on here by KOXY. Right clicks are slowed down, but not quite enough, and the Brewmaster Ultimate has now been used to relocate in as well. KOXY looks like he will end up dropping. But RSnake losing one there, and now it's just Orange chasing straight in. They're focusing on the Wisp, and they bring him down before he heads back. Not quite, but the Brewmaster might be in some trouble. Can he blink out immediately? No, we'll get vacuumed. In some trouble. Now clapped. And a little bit of Centaur Micro as well. We'll finish him off there. Whose Centaur is that? Right, Extinct stole Holy Persuasion. I was about to say who had Hemlo Dominator, but no, it's actually a Chen creep that's traded hands here. So Extinct getting his team a little bit of extra aura stack going on. So the RSnake, the fight goes well, but unfortunately they're right underneath the tier 1 tower on bot. So the rest of the orange side just turn up, and we'll be able to get at the end of the day the trade. So KOXY slowed down a bit, but he can just, again, once they pick up a gem, he can just farm his jungle until he's got his BKB AC level 16, and at that point, RSnake really starts to look like they're lacking the damage to do too much about him. I see, going to keep throwing out track kills, but he's 1 for 5 for 1. Doesn't even have the rank 2 track up just yet, so RSnake line up 100% based on pickoffs and just weren't really able to get that many going on. The pace is now picking up a little bit. They've still got these aggressive wards going on, but Orange spending more time of them, spending more of their time on the RSnake side of the map than they are on their own. And Extinct adds to the army, as he will be able to steal. I think he stole another creep there. The Dark Troll. Does Kabu want to reclaim it? Looks like he maybe does. And are the Chen creeps going to keep stacking up in terms of HP? Yes, they are. So every single time you dominate a Chen creep, it gets the HP bonus, and as you dominate it back and forth, this Dark Troll is now a 2300 HP unit. This is like Clinks' wet dream, but unfortunately there's nobody to benefit from it really, aside from the person who currently controls it. Looks like Kabu wants it back, 2.6k. Meanwhile, tier 2 tower going to be brought down on the middle lane. Lanham and Sad just doing their best to try and split push on top. No Aghanims just yet, but Lanham is very, very close. But now TP is coming back, and Wisp doesn't want to have to use the relocate defensively here. But looks like that's just going to put an end to it. Ohio's got himself a Demon Edge, and probably working his way straight towards that NKB, given that there is a Brewmaster on the other side of the field. Meanwhile, KOXY already 3k gold stacked up, BKB not too far away. Mushi looking very tanky with 2 Bracers. He's got a medallion as well, so Orange kind of gearing up for Roshan, and things just going from strength to strength. 12k is the gold lead, 7.5k is the experience, and RSnake being driven further and further back onto their side of the map. They don't have any aggressive wards down anymore. It's pretty much defensive, and looking at the orange vision, they're looking like the team. They almost look like the team that has the tiny Wisp, because they've got all these really deep aggressive wards looking for their own pickoffs, and RSnake, the late game, is just not quite there. And Net now just surging straight in mid. He doesn't actually have any backup, but he does have a BKB, so I think that's maybe all the backup that he needs. And we do have a 2-man smoke from RSnake making its way down and around Luo. Looks like he's close to his Ags, but not quite. Yeah, RSnake suspect that Roshan is the target. Both teams making their way in. Mushi gonna get jumped here, but KOXY's got the BKB. He's walking straight in. Can they vacuum everybody back into the stun? Not quite timed perfectly, but they will get the ice path down onto 2. Luo in trouble. Gonna pop off the ultimate defensively, but he's in the middle of the orange side. They're on the retreat. Mushi gonna get stunned up. And the Storm Panda making its way around. They get the backstab hit. Nat on the run, gets the mech up onto Mushi. Looks like he will be the first casualty of this fight. Now Lanham walking in with the Aghanim Scepter, looking to throw down some right click. KYXY just gets the stun. Wisp to drop. Avalanche toss combo onto 2. The cleave. Gonna finish off a double there. Extinct, what did he get? It was just a clap. Nice coverage there from the Brewmaster. And Icy able to pop off the invis. So RSnake take a fantastic fight. Ends up going 3 for 1. Surviving through the BKBs. Luo sowing chaos the whole time long. And now Ohio just trying to run himself away. Looks like Darkseid didn't really manage to drop too much. He's got the rank 1 wall, but it's still on cooldown. And Weaver just trying to escape. Looks like he will be okay. But RSnake, that's the kind of fight that they need. But again, it still might be, it might be a little bit too late. They still haven't claimed the tier 1 tower bottom. They can just relocate and snag that one if they really want to.
Dire's bottom tower
Unfortunately,
is under
Orange
attack.
responding a little bit too fast and with a little bit too much map control for RSnake to be able to attempt to rush themselves, but things still now looking a little bit better than they were a couple of minutes ago. We've got the Aghanims finished on the Tiny, we've almost got the Ags on the Brewmasters. That's going to make the Spirits even more difficult to bring down. And do we almost have the Manta Style up for Lanham? We do, so the split push option is getting pretty close for Orange. Is getting pretty close for RSnake, and something that Orange might have to be worried about. But they're still stacking up damage items. Ohio's got his MKB finished. KYXY, we did see that freshly acquired BKB. Most of the duration not quite used to its fullest, and Orange again didn't quite get the full combo. They used the vacuum early, Thirst Afford on the Ice Path, but RSnake were already retreating and just not focusing down the Spirits. Meanwhile, Orange will be able to come back for Roshan, which is their original goal, and making quick work of it with the Acid Spray and the Medallion. So it looks like RSnake, no contest from them, just waiting for cooldowns. And this is the one problem with having a slightly more cooldown dependent lineup. Waiting around for the Brewmaster ult can be a bit, but now he's got his Aghanim Scepter, so that's gonna help out just a touch. Lanham pressuring on top lane. This is going to be very viable up until the point where Darkseer maybe gets a Hex or somebody else gets Boots of Travel. And not gonna get tracked up, but looks like Orange running straight in. No vacuum back onto anyone. So it looks like KYXY just gonna end up stunning himself here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah. RSnake getting a little bit of farm. Lanham and Sag gonna keep pressure up, and RSnake now charging at mid lane. They've got the relocate ready. KYXY on the run, very speedy, gonna channel up the stun, throws it out. The relocate's coming in. The blink cooling down for the Panda. Can they get anything here? Orange also wanting to engage. RSnake all grouped up. Lanham on the front lines, and yeah, Orange is coming in headlong. Avalanche not on anyone, and now the relocate heading back into the jungle. So it looks like Lanham and Sag gonna have to take the long way back. Neither of them has a TP scroll. And looks like Orange are just charging straight through mid. Are those TPs being flown in right now? It's a Manta Style and one TP that doesn't belong to either of them. It belongs to Kabu, but maybe they should take it. Orange taking a little bit of time to get things set up. Meanwhile, the tier 1 tower bot looks like it will finally be brought down by a couple of creeps. But yeah, Orange is grouped up. They've got the Aegis. They're gonna leave KYXY as the front man. Lua just going to be throwing out the haze there. In comes the jump. Lua gonna pop off the ultimate. Ice Path thrown down, and RSnake, they get the combo. They're gonna bring down the Wisp. The Hand of God now used, but Lanham is still stunned. He's gonna pop the Manta, but it's only defensively. KYXY BK beat up the Storm Spirit ultimate, doing what it needs to do. Gem of True Sight dropped on the ground. Mushi gonna snag that one for himself. They bring down the Storm aspect, and now NPC Dota Brewmaster Earth Spirit in some trouble. Ice Path will not be effective. It looks like Lua will be able to make his way back into the base. Stun on 2, however, Kabu and Lua in some trouble. Nice avalanche, buys them a little bit of space. And looks like Lua will just be sent back the short distance to base. But Orange only losing 1 in that fight. KYXY, beautiful dodge, using maybe using the Chemical Rage there to avoid the damage. Could have also just been the additional health kicking in, but... And now the jump back in from Lua. They get the avalanche. KYXY looks like he will be brought down, but that's only the first time, and his death will actually end up stunning Lua. The Manta Style Illusion's gonna do their job. They're gonna bring down the Darkseer. They keep on going. Mushi throws up an Ice Path, but he doesn't hit the main hero. Keep on chasing. There's the track. Gem, was it secured again by Ohio? It was, but he's gonna get tracked up for his trouble. Now throwing down the BKB. Just wants to be able to bring down the Wisp in time. Will he be able to do it? Overcharge, keeping him alive. Fade Bolt from Extinct in from the side is going to finish it, and now KYXY he's rejoined the fight. They've brought down a couple. RSnake gonna keep on chasing. They bring down Extinct. KYXY forced to pop the BKB lest he stun himself. And now the 2 carries waiting in against Lua and Tiny, and Tiny's like, well, I'm out of here. Wait, is he considering going back in? Looks like he might be Manta Style off cooldown, but RSnake being dragged further and further onto the orange side of the map. Mushi just waiting a couple of seconds to respawn, and looks like that will be enough. But RSnake, another very successful team fight. Great defense from them. Ohio gonna get jumped here, but immediately time-lapsing back. And Kabu comes in. Oh, Manta Style to pop. I think he just is maybe planning to send Lanham back. They do have a couple more heroes lurking around, and only 20 seconds away from the Brewmaster ultimate. Does now have level 16. Luo, did you accidentally sink your point into something else? No. Okay, so just gonna skill that one up right now. So they've got the max Brewmaster ultimate now ready. Tiny is actually leading the board in terms of net worth. He's got 3.2k on top of what he had previously. Were there any buybacks used that last fight? There was a buyback from Luo. So a reasonably big investment there, and nobody else popped back, though they did have a secondary life on the Alchemist with the Aegis. KOXY is now level 16, working his way towards that AC. A little bit behind in terms of the timing, but then again, Orange have been 5-manning for quite a bit of this game. Roshan is still probably ages away, 5.5 minutes on that one. And yeah, RSnake, things looking okay. Lanham is now working his way towards an AC. He does need to be careful about picking up the BKB before there are hexes and whatnot on the Orange side. There is definitely still some good lockdown, but for the time being, he's still just getting it done with the Brewmaster sowing chaos and him doing all the right-clicking. And Orange, once again, gonna show their faces on mid lane, this time without the Aegis. Gold is stabilized a little bit, down to 10k, 7.5k experience. KOXY just chopping straight through the racks. RSnake get a racks of their own. Now the Brewmaster ultimate popped off. Can they get net? They're trying to get everybody out of here. Mushi is extremely tanky with the Vit Booster. They're gonna send KOXY up into the air on the backside of the fight, and now Lanham's gonna jump in. Ice Path. Drop down, Mushi still in some trouble, one more stun, buyback immediately, Stink's just going to throw at the Avalanche, the fight splitting up in very weird ways, Kabu brought down, they're going to keep putting KOXY up into the air, trying to keep him out of the fight, Net walking back in, but he doesn't actually have enough mana to drop the wall, and he hasn't used it yet, now going to throw down the BKB, Orange still chasing in, they've got the racks, they can't really take too much more. But they are going to try. Lanham waiting on the high ground. Logan going to jump back in. They drop the Ice Path vacuum onto 2. Is there a follow-up stun? The concoction barely channeled there, but Luo drops down. Sag coming in with the save. He's going to overcharge. Will it be enough? No, not quite. The flying right clicks from the Weaver going to bring him down. He's immediately going to buy back, but Wisp won't be able to save him. And now Weaver, still dusted, actually gets thrown there in the midst of all of those creeps and will end up dying. So buyback from him as well. Orange, big investments in this fight. They've already got the racks. Icy, he's got the gem. Do they have another one? Yes, Net does. Mushi gonna miss the Ice Path, and looks like that might just be his life here. They throw out the Urn Charge. Lanham's walking in on the backside. Is he just gonna toss the Darkseer on top of him? Yes, he will. He's still got the Avalanche looking towards Net. He needs to stop canceling his right clicks. He's going to get lifted. He's going to get stunned, and he just popped back. Huge investment from RSnake. That's 75 seconds. No Tiny. Can Orange get anything out of this? Looks like they're just going to charge back on the middle lane. More buybacks from Mushi. Everyone is just buying back into this fight. Meanwhile, Ohio going to head up top, looking towards the tier 2. So Orange kind of realizing that, well, Tiny's dead, but the best that we can do is maybe push creeps in mid and then go for the bottom racks, which is a little bit too difficult. So it's just going to be the tier 2. Still 50 seconds, no Tiny. Mushi making his way out. Again, extremely tanky. Looks like the game plan for him might even be a Bloodstone, just maybe get the AoE heal going on for his team. Though it'll probably be Aghanim Scepter from the point booster and just a casual Vitality booster for some HP. Fortification now used, 30 seconds, still no Tiny. Orange, up they go. KOXY, however, being nuked down. The Brewmaster ultimate ready here. AC delivered for KOXY, but he's dropping pretty low. Needs to be careful. Only 20 seconds away from Tiny, and they've got the relocate ready. So it looks like Wisp is going to back off, be ready to prime that. Stun flying over the top. Can they bring down Luo? Might be just a little bit too tanky. Ice Path will connect. They're going to vacuum him back. The whole combo drop. He will now use the Brewmaster ultimate, but he gets sent back to base. Right as that happens. Oh, just not the best coordination, and now Orange will be able to wait out the ult, reload, and just go back into the base, not having to deal with the pesky storm aspect, sending KOXY into the air non-stop. And if you actually end up relocating things as Brewmaster during his ult, it can really mess with your camera as well. But so he is going to make his way all the way out to just throw that one whirlwind onto the Alchemist. Not a whirlwind, throw the Cyclone. But no ultimate for RSnake. That's a big blunder. They do not have their Tiny back up. And he's just bought whatever he can. Snags the A. Oh, no, he hasn't snagged the AC. I clicked on KOXY. Stun gonna be thrown out onto Lanham. Tries to Manta style dodge it, but ends up being hit. Gonna get the vacuum back onto 2. Into the Ice Path. Craggy exterior doing its job. Hand of God gonna pop off, but they bring down Icy. Avalanche only hitting on net. KOXY looking to turn around. Gets thrown towards his teammates, but they get another Ice Path. They're gonna lock Lanham down. Toss stolen, and that is going to be the GG coming out from RSnake here. But it was looking bad for RSnake. They turned things around, couple of beautiful team fights, but doesn't quite end up being enough. Orange stay on the front foot, and they will be able to close it out. Again, guys, this is the semifinals of the AMD Dota 2 Premier League. I've been Baseskip. I've been here in association with Dota Talk. It's been a pleasure casting for you guys. If you guys want to leave me any feedback as far as the cast was concerned this evening, or any of the cast this evening, then you can email me at basecampdota@gmail.com. Remember to support Dota Talk. You can give them a follow here on the stream. Sure, they would appreciate that. But again, don't go too far because this is a best of 3 set for the semifinals, and Game 2 will be coming up very soon.